Want more podcast fandom in your ear holes? Of course you do. And so it's a good thing for you that we are back beginning all new coverage of some of your favorite shows. And you can still head over to patreon.com/podcastfandom to become a premium subscriber for access to our coverage of shows like Westworld, WandaVision, Loki, Attack on Titan, The Legend of Korra, and more. Also, if you are on Clubhouse, look up our club, Podcast Fandom, where we talk about shows like The Walking Dead and WandaVision. It's so much fun because you guys get to listen live as we discuss TV shows and then come up on stage to ask your questions and share your thoughts. It's a lot of fun. Oh, and we also host game nights there. So make sure you join and follow us. And now, get into this free shit. Hey guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom, the official podcast for ProjectFandom.com. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Donald.
And I'm John.
And you guys are like, what? John's here? What?
Who?
That's exactly what they're saying right now. So Ellen's not with us this week because I'm a scatterbrain who totally forgot that when we met last time, that I had actually moved Mare of Easttown to Monday nights to replace Winter Falcon. And so when we were talking about recording again, really thinking, oh, I'm accommodating Ellen. I was like, yeah, we can just keep doing it on the weekends. And we can't. And particularly this weekend, I couldn't. So, maybe next week we go back to Saturdays. But this Saturday, I'm helping a friend with a project. So I definitely couldn't. So John has been also watching Mare of Easttown, and he's enjoying it as well. So he offered his services to be our threesome.
Yeah, I've been watching Mare of Easttown.
Easton.
I know, but I say it the way that I read it.
I don't like the fact that it's two T's. It bothers me so much.
That's why I feel like it should be Easttown.
I know, you're right. I don't like the way it looks.
It's
I
East
just
Ton.
Easton. That's like a third way. Great. But before we talk about this episode, we have to shoot the shit. I feel like there's just like some weird shit going on. I feel like there's like weird energy. I'm also really high, so there's that. But I just feel like there's this weird like shift in the world right now, and I've been feeling like it for a while, but I'm also very, very cynical, and I don't believe people can change, and I don't know that things can get better, so I dare not say it out loud. Definitely not on the podcast. But things have felt different. It feels like some lately, I would say over the past few years, definitely this past year, it feels like more than ever, injustice is being met fiercely and consistently. And there's been stumbles, yes, but I don't know. I dare say I feel hopeful about some things. But and that's hard because right now the world is such a fucking mess. It is such a mess. India's COVID situation is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's inhumane.
Palestine.
Yeah. Oh my God. Palestine. Um, there are people suffering in Canada. Their COVID situation is not great. Myanmar, Colombia, Haiti. It's just there's a lot going on in the world that's terrible, and But I don't know. I feel like the response to a lot of it, specifically Palestine, and I don't know, it's definitely just not my lane to be talking about this, and I'm still learning. But I remember last year a lot of the discourse around Joe Biden and whether or not, obviously, like whether or not he could win, and you know, trying to rally Democrats to vote for him so that he definitely could win, right? So that definitely Trump couldn't win. And you know, he's not, there's no perfect candidates, but um, people were really pushing, right? A lot of Democrats were really pushing others to get on board. And there were a lot of people who were like, you know, for us, it's not, it's even worse than, like, it's not even the lesser of two evils. You know, it doesn't, you know, to us it's still just, you know, evils. And you know, Palestinian Americans are folks who feel that way, or some folks who felt that way, and that prompted me to, you know, do my homework. um and it's, you know, it's unfortunate because like I feel like it's not anti-Semitic to say um, we shouldn't treat people like this.
Hmm.
We shouldn't have treated people like this. We shouldn't continue to treat people like this. And we really shouldn't be funding this from anybody for any reason. That's not what we should be doing. And
And
and I'm
specifically,
just,
you're talking about what Israel's doing, right?
yes, yes, I'm sorry, yes. And again, you know, not really my lane um to say, you know, I definitely don't think that how, what would you say, anti-Semite, is that the right word? I definitely don't think I'm one.
Yeah,
And
criticizing the actions of Israel, like that's the thing is like Israel and Jewish people are not synonymous.
exactly, exactly. And that's the things that, those are the types of things that, I'm sorry, I was getting a message about dinner being delivered. Um that is part of, like, you know, the education process, because you know, I almost tweeted this earlier and I was just like, you know, I don't know if I want the headache that might come with this if I excuse me, if I don't express myself 100% clearly, or you know, worse yet, I do express myself well and maybe I haven't thought this through and this isn't something I should have shared or whatever, you know, like to be wrong.
Hmm.
But the point that I wanted to make, that I want to make, that I feel way more comfortable talking about than writing, is that, you know, for me personally, my experience, and I would bet it mirrors a lot of, you know, women like me, you know, 46-year-old African American women who grew up in urban areas, you know, in the public school system, you know, working class, sometimes, you know, maybe lower than that, definitely poor, you know, what, working poor, I guess you would call it. Um, but there wasn't a lot of like world affairs on my radar unless we were like at war with someone, right? A lot of what I knew about world affairs and how I should feel about regions of the world and people, um, unlike myself, me, you know, not Americans, came from fiction. And that's why, you know, when we say today, like representation matters and like putting thought into certain things and like who gets to tell their own stories, you know, that type of thing, it's because of things like this. It was one of the reasons why. Because for me, absolutely, you know, you think about my thoughts on Russia and Russians, my thoughts on Palestinians, and you know what I wanted to tweet was, if just left to, you know, my life course, you know, the education that I've had so far in my life, if just left to that, I might still say, if someone said, "What do you know about Palestinians?" I would think it was synonymous with terrorists And I don't exactly know why, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't, it's not like I can point to a specific um,
I can point to
television
one thing.
show or, I'm talking about just in my mind growing up. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, and like what I'm saying is it wasn't like a specific thing, if that makes sense. Like I don't specifically remember um uh an event or fictional or real where I automatically, to my knowledge, my memory right at this moment, this specifically links Palestinians with the word terrorist or terrorism, right? But prior to me get deciding to get off my ass and educate myself, I was trying to be honest earlier today and think like what would I have thought, you know? And I know two things. I know that I would have linked Palestinians with terrorism and thinking there if you ask me what I knew about this conflict, right? My thinking would have been that they're the bad guys, and that and this part I would not have said out loud, right? But I would have thought to myself, it's best not to criticize Israel because I know enough to think that if I do, it may be seen as, and maybe it even is, you know, not even, that's how ignorant I was, you know? So I just took it upon myself to do that. So back to the Palestinian thing. Again, no specific line of dialogue, but this is when we talk, this ties into being, when we talk about things being coded a certain way, right? Like why that matters, you know? So if you, like even if you don't overtly an example would be if you don't overtly say that a character is a homosexual, right? A male character is a homosexual, but you code him with stereotypes and, you know, like certain mannerisms and things that
Mm-hmm.
the audience would assume that he is, right? So if you always have that type of ambiguously gay character and then he ends up being a pedophile in your stories, right? Like if that is the character type, right? That has, you know, been prevalent, or you know, you do I saw a debate about this just yesterday on Twitter. Um what was the Asian character's name? Even the name is offensive, from 16 Candles, the Chinese character.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but it's
Right, but
probably
you
best to not say it anyway. Yeah.
exactly either way, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like that. So then if you have like think about that type of character, or even a Pooh from The Simpsons, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so if you always have that, right? Then it doesn't matter, right? If it's Palestinian or Indian, or do you get what I'm saying? Like I feel like we are conditioned to think of certain people from certain regions certain ways, right? Without
Yeah, and
knowing.
it.
It's like even when you joke about Stazakhstans and you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Like it feels like all of that is kind of rooted in the same rot that
Mm-hmm.
makes it so that, you know, you can go as long as I went in my life and not understand what is happening to people.
Mm-hmm. And that's the like it create like those kind of stereotypes and the stereotypical use of cultures in that way, like it creates a false sense of representation.
Right.
And so when you say, "Oh yeah, well there are, Asian characters, for example,"
Hmm.
and so therefore there is representation, and then but there isn't real representation because
Right,
it's
right.
all stereotypical, lazy, racist shit. And then that, like you said, then that when like representation does matter. It does matter when you get to see those kinds of things, especially when you don't have that exposure in your life, like in
Right.
your everyday life, and like with the education system in America, at
Hmm.
least,
Hmm.
is not great.
It's terrible.
And so like when you're a kid, a lot of that kind of cultural education does come from entertainment
Hmm.
because you're not like everything is centered on white people in education. It's all white centric. It's all European, It's everything says like this is the one perspective that you get to know.
Right.
And so if you don't have those other perspectives in education, and then the only other perspective that you have in entertainment is the skewed view of, the skewed stereotypical view
Which is
that is
still rooted
also
in
through,
whiteness.
yeah,
Yes.
it's also through the white prism,
Right.
then it's like you're not ever actually getting exposed to those
Hmm.
things if you don't actually know people.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And so, I'm grateful that it came for me at all. Do you know what I mean? Um, that I am, I can't even say got there, that I'm getting there, but again, I didn't know, and um, Lexi Alexander was one of those people that had talked about, it's not the lesser of two evils for other people, like, that this, and and again, it was just like one of those things that you don't. I know it's gonna sound crazy, particularly, and it makes me sound really stupid, and that's fine for as old as I am. But it's like you don't really get sometimes, or I didn't get. Let me stop. I didn't get really that the decision of president doesn't. It's not just about us. And naively, I guess, I see now that a lot of people, particularly Republicans, they always know that, and that they're always thinking about that. And so anyway, she was one of those people who, she said that, and it got me to thinking, like, you know what does that mean? And I asked her privately, and it's like, again, it's like you don't want to, like, educate me on your struggles. I was just like, uh, if you don't mind, could you point me in a direction of some reliable resources? Because again, I knew enough to know that I don't want information coming from skewed sources, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like if somebody in another country was like, "Well, tell me about American politics. Tell me about, like, what is it like with presidential candidates?" And then you direct them only to Fox News and Info, all the right wing.
Newsmax.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It would be like that. So if somebody like went searching on their own and, heaven forbid they landed on only that type of stuff, you could see how they would come out of that experience. So I wanted to, like, avoid that. So anyway, she was gracious enough to send me a link with links to some books and documentaries, which I'm gonna. Oh man! So I will pin the tweet because I linked it because, again, I didn't want to say everything that I just said here on this podcast. I didn't want to say that and then have it come out wrong, because I'm sure it would have, and maybe it did here. um, but it's just something that has been weighing on my mind, and again, not just that. It's just like, just shit. One other thing I wanted to say, we got vaccinated. We're fully vaccinated now, all of us. Yay, all three of us. And
Yeah, I got 2 more days and I'm 2 weeks past.
2 more days, and you are.
It's all soaked in my bones.
I was gonna say, I don't like the way you said that.
Yeah, I'm just soaking the vaccine into
Marinated
my bones.
vaccination. You got a Moderna marinade.
Yeah.
It's barbecue sauce.
I
It's
was
like.
just laying in it. Laying into my own Moderna mess.
I hate you so much. Anyway, what is today? Wait. Oh, we are not 2 weeks past yet, Donnie?
No.
Oh.
Y'all are probably like
We just got our shot fucking last week.
y'all are probably 8 days or something.
Did I mention that I'm high? So anyway, um, what was I saying? Oh, so when we were coming back from getting our second shot, we are going through the Pearl District and downtown Portland, and um, there's a lot of homeless, and it is heartbreaking. It is, it's heartbreaking. And we're driving and I see it and and it's like blocks upon blocks and it doesn't, it's just terrible. It's just a terrible thing to witness. It's obviously even more terrible for that to be that this is people's situations. And it just left me feeling, as you would imagine. And I know, like, y'all are probably saying, well, God, I walk by homeless all the time. Listen, I've been in this house for years, okay? Like, even before COVID, all right? And we live in the suburbs. And I guess I've just been kind of, out of sight, out of mind type thing, how we are aware of shit in the world, but because everybody has their own shit, it's very easy for us to forget. And I think that's just where I was, I think. And it was terrible. And so it was like weighing on my mind. And then I got home and I was like flipping through my phone and I saw this thing about Caitlyn Jenner.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, what? It's like, how are we? And I know I say this.
The airplane hangar you're talking about.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Like she went on was she on like a talk show or something like that, or somebody's podcast, and was asked about, because I guess she's thinking of running for governor, and
Mm-hmm.
so was asked about the current situation in, I guess, the area of California that she lives in, and like, is it Hollywood or specifically whatever position, or is she running for governor or something, whatever.
Yeah,
So
she's gonna run for governor. Yeah.
okay, so we will never learn if we keep electing celebrities, but okay, whatever. Um, I'm so tired, but anyway, but yeah, but when asked about that, it's just like that stupid campaign stuff that candidates say, where it's like, yeah, I know that the situation is rough and it's terrible, and it's got so bad with the homeless that my neighbor packed up his hangar and was like, they're leaving, and I'm like, hangar, like airplane hangar,
Airplane hanger.
Yeah,
his
because she was like the apparently she was at her hangar that she also has, and she.
So it's
and
not
she
even
was
her
like,
home neighbor, it's her hangar neighbor.
it's not even a guy who lives beside her.
My airplane neighbor.
He's taking his planes and he's going home.
It was
I
just,
can't take this homeless people.
It was
They're
so
gonna invade my hangar.
fucking just out of touch.
And that's like the thing that, and I say this, and I'm gonna loop back around to hopeful, because and I don't know why I can't explain it, and again, maybe it's maybe I'm being naive again, but just that idea, that's the thing I thought out of that. It's like, I gotta stop being surprised when celebrities show just how out of touch they are. Like, we joke about it sometimes, like, the extravagance and the absurdity of it all, but it's not that far off, apparently, because how would you, like, why would you even say something like, how do you not know to not say something like that?
Yeah, and like you said, it was one of those campaign things where
Right.
she was clearly, she was like, oh yes, I know the homelessness issue is bad in Los Angeles, and then she's like, she goes further, and she's like,
Right.
from my perspective as a rich person, it's like, this is why I think it's bad, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not why it's bad at all. That's not the issue that anybody's talking about other than you and your rich friends. Like, it's horrible.
And then, okay, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and I swear we can talk about Mare of Easttown.
It's
Um,
ton.
do you see what's going?
We just
Do you
all
see?
three say it a different way.
Do you see what's going on with Chrissy Teigen?
Yeah.
Do you guys believe that? Like,
Believe
was
what?
that proof? I saw something that she had told somebody to kill herself or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing to believe.
It's
She
not,
said
it's,
she did.
She did say-
admitted to
okay.
it. Yeah.
I haven't.
But this isn't. And to my knowledge, though, that honestly, I thought we all knew this. I absolutely thought we all knew this. And I think this is one of those things it feels like where selective memory, I guess, I don't know. When it comes to celebrity, where again, like I remember years and years ago, like reading like in a Vibe magazine, like remember those actual magazines? um, the whispers about Bill Cosby. This type of thing where it's just like people know these like kind of like supposed misdeeds, whispering things of celebrities, but this shit with her, and the reason I say is because remember when she left Twitter
Mm-hmm.
the last time, um, and that so she was trending because of that, and I clicked it like what's going on because I'm nosy like everybody else, and there were people, obviously there were people like, I can't believe y'all bullied her off. And then more people were like, girl, go. You know what I mean? Like, you're rich and whatever, just go. And honestly, for a while, like, I went from like not liking her. I remember that to like, and I knew there was something with like, she would do things and it felt kind of like, Aquafina light. Like it felt like she was adopting, behavior that she would think this is how black women act. And I remember that just like rubbing me the wrong way. And I definitely remember her getting criticized for something, and her pushback was because then by then she was dating John Legend. Her pushback was that they were just jealous that he wasn't dating a black woman, which then put any when you say it like that, then, all the hate then you're saying is coming from black women. And then, gee, what's that about? So there was that. And then I feel like they got married, and she always seemed to my recollection, kind of be on like the right side of stuff. So I just kind of, whatever. And then somebody was like, oh no, remember that time she called that little black girl a cunt? And I was like, what? And again, that's one of those things that's like was floating out there because I remember when that happened. Do you guys remember when that happened?
Yeah, Quinjane Wallace.
Thank you. Quinjane Wallace. What was the big movie that she was in?
But she was in Beasts of a Southern Wild, and that's what she
Yes.
was nominated for. But she
Nominated
was
for.
also in Annie.
That's right.
I
That's
liked
right.
that Annie. I thought that was really good.
Um,
I like Beasts of a Southern Wild too.
yeah, that was good. God. Anyway, what was I saying? I think I watched that on a plane, as a matter of fact. Anyway, so there was just like it felt like there was like these whispers or whatever, but it also felt like these past 4 years, people really jumped on to any celebrity that was like anti-Trump. You know what I mean? And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like because of that, people just like forgot and overlooked stuff. I know I certainly did. Like, a part of it could just be also that she's just not someone who stays on my radar, so I don't really care either. But I would like remember like she would pop up for like these tweets that people would drag her for that I would be like, "What? Like y'all are so this is so like I get it, but like I don't know." But then, other people were like, "But it's, we're in a pandemic and this is out of touch and it makes people think." And I was like, "Okay, I guess, Again, like not that offensive, whatever. I could care less." But now everybody's like all shocked and like she's supposedly getting canceled, but nobody gets canceled really. Because it came out that she, was bullying this girl. But again, when that last thing happened when she left, the people who were like, why are y'all so sad that she left? Remember when she did this? And so there were threads of like receipts and all the shit that I just said were in those threads. So I'm always just like, and that shit with this girl, because I remember then that's how I knew. So when this shit came up today, I immediately knew. I didn't have to go look the girl up because I remembered, oh yeah, she was the girl she married. She was like a teenager and she had married this actor who I swear was on Sons of Anarchy. And I remember that whole thing, and where people were, and I think he might have been on Lost too. And when I remember when that happened, and I think they'd even gone like on a talk show, and we were just like, how is this not? How is he not in jail? Like, how are people like entertaining this? And apparently, um, Oh, and you know what? I think someone in one of the threads that came up today, uh, their name is Courtney Snowden, or maybe it's pronounced Snowden, and
Wait, are
they're
you
non-binary.
okay?
Yes,
Were you asking what her name was? No, but you're talking about someone else.
I'm talking about the person that Chrissy Teigen cyberbullied or bullied, I should say. And they had been married at 16 to an actor, and
Yeah, it's
that's
Courtney Stodden.
not. Say it again.
Stodden.
Stodden, Courtney Stodden. I learned today that they're non-binary and they go by they them pronouns. So, I just remembered that. Like I like random. At least that is what I. You know what? Here I am. Something I read on Twitter, and I'm like that. But I don't know. It feels like to err on the side of caution. Is that how it goes? I don't want to be offensive. Um, but anyway, Chrissy Teigen is apparently now getting recanceled, and again, I'm like, I feel like this is something that was just like under the radar for I guess a lot of folks, and now. But is
Yes, a
it
lot of
true?
people getting
Like
canceled. This, I think I didn't. Isn't Ellen? I saw that too. It's like all these
Ellen
people
canceled
just
herself.
right.
Ellen canceled herself. But see, all of that kind of links to what I feel like things changing. And I know I say this like every few podcasts where it feels like the world post COVID, it feels like a lot of stuff just needs to be better. Like people, our politics, our policies, television shows, just like, like this, like it just feels like a shift. And so, yeah, out with that shit. Like, fuck that. Why do people fucking, like, who's still watching fucking talk shows in the afternoon anyway? Like, let's figure out something better to do. Because all she does is say shit. Like, yes, I know she would give away shit to people, whatever, but she's also running a toxic fucking ship. And she was providing a place for fucking celebrities to go in there and peddle their latest wares. And we already fucking know what they're doing because it's all over the goddamn place. It's all over Twitter. It's all over you. We can't escape it. Nobody's gonna miss the next Marvel movie. Like, oh shit, that dropped. That will never fucking happen. We don't need Ellen and the two twins and the talk and the view and the real and how many fucking opinions do we need? And podcasts while we're at it.
Yeah, who the fuck listens to podcasts too? Nobody.
Yeah,
Only losers are listening to podcasts.
yeah, fuck those people. All right, but yeah,
I like
speaking
how
of
now though that HBO, especially HBO Max, like before their shows, they always preview. Hey, you could listen to our official podcast.
yeah, I was like
Every
man,
fucking show.
that's or I would say over the past 5 to 6 years. All right, let's talk about Mare of Easttown because I really do want to go see that place we were talking about, and I have a lot of homework. So, John, you are enjoying this show.
Those could both be considered homework. Anyway, let's go ahead.
John, you said you're enjoying this show.
Yeah, it's a great fucking show.
Look at you sounding like a South, like a Delco County, like that would be redundant, like a Delco resident,
Delco County.
like a Delco County.
You gotta say dirter. The murder and the dirter.
Yeah, drink of water.
All right, so we're gonna dive into Donnie. What did you think of the episode?
I thought it was excellent. I'm rewatching it now because we watched it when it came out. Now a few days later, so I got on this background, and just seeing some stuff, I was like, it was a great episode. They had a lot of good twists and turns and more questions. I guess every fucking episode has more questions and more suspects.
John.
Yeah, it was a great episode. I don't remember. I watched it.
You're terrible.
I didn't know I was gonna be on here. Don't do this to me.
Look, you were like, "Do y'all need me?" I was like, "Yeah."
Well, because you need me don't mean I'm gonna be good.
So I just assumed you were prepared.
That's why I depend on Nina for her good notes.
Oh, so you admit I take notes.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, I just want to say that I think that her cousin is sus.
Shut your mouth. Who, the priest?
Yeah, the priest.
You're just saying that because he's a priest.
No.
Well, Nina's theory is that he's having a relation. He has a relationship with the deacon.
Mm-hmm.
No, not anymore. I told you.
After this episode?
Yeah, because I was like, ooh, he's a little long in the tooth. I don't know.
He has a relationship with the other deacon.
Yeah. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know why you're like that with the priest, because...
I don't know. He just seems shady.
Okay. Everybody on the show is shady, though.
That's true. Like, every time I watch this show...
I told you, there's a new suspect every fucking episode.
Yeah, every time I watch this show, I'm just like, fuck that person. Like, to everybody. like throughout the entire hour, it's just like every next person is just like, oh, wait, no, fuck you.
Who's going to disappoint me next?
I mean, just every time, every
next week,
single time.
You'll be like, fuck that baby, okay? No, that baby's got to go.
This is not baby the way it's crying.
Except for the grandmother. So
oh my god, I thought she was going to die this week, and I was stressed. Right?
She got ran over.
I thought, no, you did not. Okay.
She got CTE.
What is wrong with
you? She hit that wall pretty hard.
She did.
Oh my god.
That was hilarious. I didn't know.
It was not!
Yes, it was. That was so fucking funny. Because, like, when she sent that girl into that room, I was like, oh shit.
That's what I was like, she's gonna... Yeah, I knew exactly what.
And then when she it was so funny when Jean Smart, when she sent Becca, I think, right, into the basement, she was like, yeah, you can wait in there for Siobhan. And then when she sent her away, and then Jean Smart like skittered up the stairs. I was like, what, did she know something? What's she doing? She looked very suspicious.
Yeah, she had to get her ice cream out the. She left her ice cream in the fucking bread box. She had to get this shit.
She had to go eat some popping corn. I was just like, okay,
you guys are you guys are insane because ask Donnie. I was like, when she left and like they made it a point to show that she was home alone. And I know we're skipping ahead, but like I was like, and she goes in the freezer for those mixed vegetables, which is like the most working class shit I've ever seen in my life.
She just dropped it down, and then she goes to talk to syrup. I'm like, what the fuck is she?
Right, I was like,
this is a new vegetable I've seen.
But like the whole time, I'm like, oh my god, I feel like something bad's gonna happen. And knowing that she had dumped that girl, and they had set up that the ex-girlfriend is kind of a mess, right? Like every episode she's like fucked up and throwing up on herself and stuff. And they establish like that's been her behavior. So I'm like, this can't be good. And then when she lies about Siobhan texting her, we had just seen Siobhan with her new girlfriend, and she was like, can I come? And anytime somebody shows up unexpected at night too, it's like, can I come? The
weird thing was she asked to come in before she even said anything.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying, all of that together is that just stressed me out. I was sitting here and like, I don't like this. I was like, if something happens to Ellen, I'm gonna be pissed. So you guys knowing where it was going, great, good for you. I was stressed the fuck out. So by the time she hit that wall, I was like, oh my god.
She just bounced off that wall.
I was like, she gonna die. And that played like it. So, again, not knowing where it was going like you guys and thinking that it was about to go terribly wrong. I was just like, this is playing way more comical than I think it should. She just started screaming.
It was so funny. It was so funny. I mean, especially and they played it funny because when Mare gets home and she's like, that's it? That's it? I rushed home. You got an ambulance here. And this is it? And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm not more maimed.
Yes, I'm not more maimed for you.
It was funny.
Yeah, now. But then I was not laughing. I thought they were about to kill that woman off this show. I was so stressed. All right, so let's go through the episode. Mare does not tell her family right away that she got fired for being a cop.
I mean, I don't blame her.
She tells her
No,
family.
listen, we didn't know that yet. Last week, by the time yet last week's episode ended, we were just like, "Oh, fuck her!" Like, what the
No,
fuck?
I mean, I'll blame her for not telling her.
Oh, oh,
But like, yeah, for sure. What you're saying,
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't blame her
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
setting that woman
But
up
like,
either.
why would like? I mean, I guess, like, I guess I don't. I mean, I was gonna say, how do you tell them? But I guess you do it like she eventually did. You just tell them.
They took it really fucking
I was
well.
gonna say, they're kind of like a cool family. Plus, Siobhan's hiding a murder. She got a lot on her mind.
You think that she killed what Aaron? What's her name?
Yes, she fucking did it, John.
I don't know how she could have.
I'm
Like,
gonna
I know
tell
you
you.
told me that. You told me that, and I was like, "Was she like go run after her and kill her?" Like, because she
No,
left her.
because remember they established last week that she left on her bike. Erin
Mhm.
left. And then the assumption is that somebody in a car drove her to
Drove her
where
somewhere.
she was shot. And then we see that the priest or the deacon threw the bike away last week. So I still think he's red herring. I think he picked her up and dropped her off there where she met whoever that was and like kept her bike. I don't know, she told him, my friend don't give me a ride. He seems like an idiot and also a creeper. But I don't think he killed her. I don't think they're telling us that early. But and so that's why he had the bike. But like I mean, I don't know where you are theory wise, but like me and Ellen, and I don't know about Donnie. Like I don't remember if Donnie is like firmly on this train or not. But we believe that the dead son, the son who killed himself, Kevin is that his name?
Mhm.
Um, he is Erin's baby daddy. And that's why the ex was helping
Ex-husband, yeah.
Erin. And I think that's why he was so uh, specific in saying, yeah, sure, I'll take a test, but I just want to be clear. I didn't have sex with her. I didn't have sex with her. In case there's like a family match.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, he's gonna come back. It's kind of matching. He's like, wait a minute.
We got a little bit of a match here.
It's like 80%. Whoa, 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 whoa.
So
I swear, it's like he's gonna be. I swear, in prison. He's.
And I don't know, like
my only thing is have they told us when Kevin killed himself? I don't know if they've given
yeah,
us a date.
like he killed himself right when her baby was born, right around the time her baby was born. And
That's the other thing, because I think that kid is much older than.
Yes, he had, and that's the thing. Like her, in this episode, Mare finds a locket with a birth date on it, and
Yeah,
I
this
think
2017.
that is her grandson's birthday because he's 4.
But the show takes place in 2019
How do you know it takes place in 2019?
because they said it.
Who said it?
It was on. You know what? It is just the license plates, the expiration date on the license plates. That's why it popped up in my head. The
Did
expiration.
do these people look like they keep up with their life?
She's a fucking cop. She better.
It's
Honestly,
Maris planting drugs. What are you talking about?
I was thinking it was the show is taking place in 2020.
Oh.
I feel like I saw the date not on a license plate, like on a website or something, or a news or a TV show.
Yeah, the DJ's the other baby, right?
Erin's baby. He's a
DJ's
year.
Aaron's baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she has it written down because I just watched the scene. She has it written down on a notepad that he was born November 10th of 2018. The locket is from 2017, so that's why I was curious to see.
Oh, okay, so this is
The locket
2019.
is a good, that whoever gave her that locket is the baby daddy, because that's about, I would say, 9 months prior
So
to.
why did she look at that? Like she kept that and she looked at the date and I felt like it would be like if I picked up a
Right.
locket and my birthday was on it. I would be like,
You know,
"Oh, it's kind of like a weird thing to kind of take you aback a bit."
you know what? It felt like one of those things like when you're playing a video game and then like a Telltale game or something. And you're like,
This will
and
be
it's like
important later.
like you find it, and it's like I don't know what the fuck this means right now, but I'm gonna put
Hold
it in
on.
my pocket because like when I get to like level 4, it's gonna be like, remember that locket that had a date on it?
There'll be like a panel with a 6-digit code.
It's like into the password.
Yes, it's the birthday on the locket.
It's when you're like, let me examine everything in my pocket.
Yes. Turn it around. Evan Peters' face when he learns that not that Mare's like stepping off the case, but when the guy sitting down, I forget his name, is going to be working with him. If you haven't already, you need to go back to that scene.
Yeah, that guy is clearly like shit. Like a shit detective.
The way Evan Peters looks at him, though, when he goes, so and so is going to partner with you on this, he looked like he smelled bad.
He was like, oh, I guess you can have this coffee.
Yeah, he couldn't hide his face at all. But
That's
it's
why
like
they always have characters like that in shows like this.
that's true. That's true. But I said before that he in the scene where the girl who beat up Erin, I forget her name too. Christy, I think. When she's like, no wonder your son killed himself. The way Evan Peters looked at her, he was like, who raised you? Like, what? It's almost like he's not acting, like he just stumbled into a room and heard somebody say something really horrible. We learned that the baby dad, huh?
I was going to say really quick, there was one thing that I realized, and this is apropos of literally nothing. So it will mean nothing and we can move on. But I realized that watching this show, I think Evan Peters could play a live action Goofy.
That's so random.
What is wrong with you?
I do. I have reasons. If I could find the pictures right now, I would show them to you. But there is a scene in a Goofy movie where Goofy smiles like a sheepish smile, and it's the same like when I saw Evan Peters smile at Mare in the bar when he was drunk. He was like, ooh. I was like, that's Goofy right there. I was like, I bet he could do it. He could pull it off. He could play live action Goofy. Sorry, I will find the pictures and I will show you.
Oh my god.
Anyway, go on.
So
aren't you glad, Casper? Come on.
So we learned that the baby daddy is unknown, right? That it's not Frank, but it's also not Dylan. Dylan's still a dick, right? Because even though they know it's not his baby, like the mother is still caring for this innocent baby. And Dylan's like, throw that in the trash. He's the worst. Why are they? How do you raise such a monster? Oh my god. And they keep trying to appeal to like I guess what he was like when he was 2. I don't know. Like they're like, Dylan, stop it. Dylan. It's like your son's terrible. Do they know that he set that poor girl up to get beaten up and videotaped it and put it on the internet? Like, why are y'all coddling him? Yeah, he got shot in the back, but he kind of deserved it.
Kinda.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Dylan's like one step.
By the end of the first, I told Donnie, I was like, by the end of that second episode, I told Donnie, I said, you gotta kill him. You can't take this kid out here with this gun and not kill him. You know, like you're gonna go to prison either way. You let him leave. But yeah, then he ran.
He was like, please, Mr. McMiniman. I was like, too late, man.
Yeah, no, you're a fucking terrible person.
And it was so great because like they set it up. Anyway, they set it up when his parents were like, you shouldn't go out. Like, this is a
Mm-hmm.
bad time. And he was like, I'm not a prisoner. I should go out. And I was like, you deserve to get shot. You deserve. You're going out. You should stay home. You're going out. It's like fucking like in the pandemic. It's like
Yes.
you,
Yes.
you
I'm
deserve
going out
this.
without a mask, Mom. Can't stop me.
Oh,
Oh, but Dylan, you should wear a mask.
oh, goodness. Dawn gets a call saying that her daughter's still alive and that she will come home for $5,000. And we learn that Katie has a daughter. I don't think we knew this.
No.
And
And
I
we
was
learned that
saying,
every fucking person in this show has a
I
kid.
no, listen, I fucking said last week on the podcast and I felt bad. You remember? I was like, oh my God, I'm probably going to get hate for this. Like, listen, I'm sorry, Delco, but Delco County. But there's a lot. It feels like they're just letting us know that teen pregnancy is a thing in this town and it's like generational. And I was saying I could absolutely though relate to that. Like I just feel like I kind of grew up in that type of
Mm-hmm.
um area where that was just something that was kind of normal. And yeah, so I said that last week when I can't remember, like we were talking about some stuff about the show, but I specifically said the scene where um they were getting information. They had just the autopsy, and Evan Peters and Mare are talking, and I pointed out how it feels like he was brought in because he solved this big case a year ago, but he's dumb. Like she teaches him every scene.
Yeah, that
Like,
was one of the things that made him suspicious.
yeah, it's like,
Is
why
that
are you
like
here?
did he create that case to solve it?
Right? And then when she questioned him about it, like there was no specific answer. It was just like I just kept looking at it and look. I was like, "What?" It's like, "Huh?" That's not how it works in the movies. But anyway,
And
when
then
she
when,
was like, "Well, you can't," he said something like, "Um, oh, go like to fool around in the woods," and she was like, well, there's a car, like why would you do that when there's like the like a warm back seat of the car. And I'm like, yeah, even the way they talk about it is like they expect these teenagers to be having sex, and it feels like, so now you have her son, right, had a kid. Dawn's daughter Katie has a kid. Aaron has a kid. I feel like there was one more I'm forgetting. Oh, and
who's
let's
Katie? I
not
don't
forget
remember.
that they all look very young, right? Like even the adults themselves.
Katie is the one that got kidnapped, the very first girl, right?
Yes. So she has a we
Oh
I don't
yeah,
think
okay. I was
I'm
like, who the
sorry.
fuck are you
We didn't
talking?
know this. I'm sorry. We didn't know she had a daughter until this episode because
Right.
Dawn is feeding. Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Your mom used to love broccoli," and I was like, "Oh my God." So I don't know. I felt kind of vindicated because I felt like like I was like making stuff up, but it just kind of felt like a pattern to me. Like they understand that there just seems to be a lot of teen pregnancy in this town.
Uh-huh. And
Um,
like Dawn is like they're making her a saint, right?
what is wrong with you? I
I'm just saying
mean,
they
she
are.
didn't ask to have her daughter be like addicted to drugs and get kidnapped and to get cancer.
I
What?
didn't say that she did. I'm just saying she's a saint. Like,
Yeah, like, cause she had like this dilemma. I guess we could talk about it now. She had this dilemma of like, after the guy called back, um, he gave her like, if he told her something about the granddaughter, like the birthday, and then something about like a
Yeah,
tattoo or
tattoo on her
something,
ankle or something like
right?
that.
Um, that the implication being that Katie is still alive and was able to feed him that info. So it make it seem as though after thinking about it and debating if she should steal money from her job at the convenience store, she agrees, does it, and she goes out to meet this person with the money and a gun. And it turns out when he called like that second time, I was like, please don't be that nigga. Please don't be him. Please don't be so and so's. I forget the homegirl's name. Don't be her brother. Don't be her brother. And it turns out it is him
hmm
because he's a drug addict as well. And
which they like established, right? And like,
the first episode, yeah.
and then didn't she like say something horrible about him? Like, why don't you go ahead and die or something like that? Her
Oh,
sister,
oh
his
no,
sister, rather.
no, she said to Mare, um, I this is a horrible thought to have, but sometimes I wish that it would just happen already because then at least I know he'll be like I'll know where he is. You know what I mean? Like I know he's not out in the streets and that thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
but she didn't say that to him. Um so yeah, like and I felt like when this was happening, like when she gets the call and it asks for the money, they ask for the money and then they call back with the information. I was like, I feel like this is Katie. Like, because they already established that she had a drug addiction and that she was like in and out of trouble. And I'm like, what if she just like ran off and now whatever it is she was doing, like, because she's only been gone a year, right?
Yes.
She
Yeah, I think I
disappeared.
think yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's a Mare thought she had just run off because she was on
Right.
drugs and
And so, and I couldn't figure out though. Remember when we talked about it maybe last week or the week before. I couldn't figure out why Mayor was being so bad about this case apparently because we saw in the first episode when the boss was saying, the anniversary's coming up and all this stuff and he wanted to do more. She was like she's probably dead. Like Mayor didn't seem to care. By the end of the episode, when they've already done the news thing on the and they're talking about how it's been a year and there's no answers and all that stuff and it makes the cops look bad. And by the end of the episode, Mare is berating her friend. Like and I'm like, why is she so terrible about this? Like why is she so horrible to her, friend with cancer who's a missing child? And we see outside of that she isn't doing anything to find this kid, in fact that she thinks that she's dead. So I didn't understand that. And then in this episode when he calls back with that information, I'm like, she could have told that to someone, you know what I mean, like
Hmm.
to get the money. And I was like, I feel like this is, and I thought what I thought was going to happen was she
and
was
her
going to
friend
get
somebody
hurt.
she had told somebody. Who she tell? She told somebody that she got the phone call. Oh, it was the sister.
She told the sister, right? So, but
And
he
she's
so
like,
he
you need to talk to the police.
right
Or
so
she said talk to Mayor.
talk to Mayor, and but then she told her, but Mayor's not working anymore because everybody knows that Mayor's not work. They don't know why, but they know she's not working. That she's on leave or whatever. So anyway, I'm thinking, oh, she's going to get hurt, and they're going to get away with the money, right? And then it's going to get back to Mayor, and Mayor's going to go to wherever Katie is, because I'm thinking maybe the thing is that that's why she's trying to tell her, because she thinks it's better, right? Like she knows where Katie is, and maybe there was some sort of deal like you leave your mother alone, I don't know, but you coming back asking for money wasn't part of it. Like that's what I thought was going to happen. Boy, was I wrong. No, they just made it that this fucking guy is just terrible. But it still doesn't explain how he knew that. I don't know if we're just supposed to know that because they're all friends,
Yeah,
or.
I mean,
But now, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter because by the end of the episode, we see where Katie is.
yeah, I mean, and I mean, I wouldn't say he's necessarily terrible.
Yeah, not terrible. I get it. He's an addict. He has a disease. I get it. I feel
Yeah,
like though they need to stop beating on this woman.
yeah, and I mean that's one of the things, like you mentioned, like you didn't know why Mary was being like a dick to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, like when I watched it, I felt like I liked that, the way she was being, because I felt like it was informed by her experience losing her son. You know what I mean?
I I guess, but
So she's cold and like, you know, my son's dead, like, so that your daughter's
it
probably dead
feels
too.
like though they're establishing that this is just the type of person that she is though. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing, like we talked about this too, like trying to figure out, okay, when did the marriage go bad, and then like when did the son kill himself, when did the drugs start? And that's, I guess, kind of the frustration when you tell a story like this, because you kind of do want to and need to know those things to so you can decide like how you feel about why people do what they do. Again, the perfect example being last week we were all like, fuck you, Mare. That was crossing a line. And then this week you get that flashback and it's like, oh, I understand.
Yeah, I understand. It was still really stupid.
It's still stupid and wrong. I mean, it's still fucked up. Like, that doesn't change at all. But it goes back to that thing where it's like, you can understand why something is bad and even, think that I would never, ever, ever do that. And I mean, there's only one
I mean,
thing
I
I can
might do
think
that.
that's like, well, two things I think of that are just, there's never any excuse. But God, you sit there and you watch that scene and you think about like everything that's happened since then and like where she is now. I got it. I absolutely got it. Even though, and we talked about this too last week, right, Donnie? I was like, she had me even when she was talking to Carrie, and I didn't remember then, and I still don't exactly how it was phrased, but it was just the idea, something in their conversation. You could see the moment it sunk into Mare that he's just not going to live with her anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and the thought of that, I guess, as a mom, like thinking about that, like somebody was like, yeah, nope, Jack can't live here anymore. He has to go live somewhere else. And you don't know if they're, fed and safe and happy and like, whew, I
It'd be
felt
like,
like, yeah. But then at that point, though, when she's sitting there, I'm thinking, well, then fight her. You know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
I wasn't thinking go plant the drugs. But then when you see what she went through and how she was, and again, going back to, I don't remember his name, but the brother, because they're all addicts, right? So there's a measure of, well, they have a disease. But it's still hard to witness that and
But I
not
mean,
feel
you also
like
have
you
her
want to
mother
give that woman a baby to take care of.
you have her mother saying that, hey, I've talked to so and so, and there's a good chance she's going to take him. Like, and that was her reasoning for telling him, like and that's kind of
Well,
put
yeah.
fear in
And
them.
it's
Like, hey, I'm not going to. I have to do something because I'm not going to win this.
yeah. I mean, like you get how like why Mare is so desperate because like if she loses the kid, then it's like losing her son again. And so like you get it, but like it also it's really unfortunate because you can see that what's her name, Carrie. You
Yeah.
can see that she's trying,
Yeah.
like
They're
she's
very usually they'll try to be maybe a little bit ambiguous. Like we never get to see Carrie that much, like
hmm
usually when the way this is written, right? Like it's still kind of ambiguous, and so you don't really know if you should be rooting for her, and so all you're seeing is the uncertainty and of course like the bad flashbacks. So you're
yeah.
still always kind of rooting for the Mare character. But here it feels like everything they're showing you is positive. Nothing feels off yet.
Yeah,
So it
like
just makes it worse.
she absolutely seems like someone who is an addict and is trying to get her life together, and and obviously like the scene where she had her son at her place, and it was like she was trying to recreate Mare's house, like in like that home environment, it's like
Mhm.
kind of,
Mhm.
and it was sad when she had to bring the kid back because he couldn't sleep or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
You
in
could
that
see she
situation,
felt bad. Oh.
yeah, and then like in that situation, you think like it would like if this were a better relationship, like they could just talk and
Mhm.
Mare could help her and help keep her, at least
She could have her move in there.
But they don't like
yeah,
each other, and that's the
yeah,
problem.
Yeah,
that's
but that I mean
yeah.
that's what he's saying though. If they would just
Right.
Like
yeah.
if they didn't have that history where
Mhm.
like you can tell like Mare blames Carrie and Carrie blames Mare.
Right.
Mhm.
And so it's like they both blame each other for losing what Kevin was his name.
Yeah.
And so like you get it, you get the rift there. And so like that's the frustration of the entire situation is like if they could come together, like it would be fine. Like they
Yeah.
could be fine. They could be a family together. But at the same time, it's like Carrie is getting her life together and shit, and she's like turning around. But like the Carrie, it wasn't even in a flashback. It was in current day when she was like, "Oh, he hated you. Like he
Oh
hated you
yeah,
so much."
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just like, what? Like, so you're still that person. she's still that person who was
But
like
to
a
be
shitty
fair,
person.
though, she said that when Mare told her to her face, "I will tell them that you're using again." You know what I mean? Like she said something really dirty to her.
Oh yeah, yeah, they both like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
both
But no,
terrible.
yeah, she can still be that person. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and so that's, I mean, it's just like it's hard to, it's easy to see like in a perfect situation how things could go, but it's hard to root for that situation because like 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 everyone on this show just
Yeah.
they have reasons for you to just not like them.
Um, I'm going through my notes. I think we pretty much talked about everything, except the moment I thought Dylan was going to kill that baby.
He was gonna kill that baby.
I
And then he
don't know.
changed his mind.
Yes.
Is that what he really?
Yes, that's why he grabbed the pillow and then he dropped it.
Yeah, he was like
It's not like he set it down for the baby. He just dropped it, like because he realized I can't go through with this shit.
shut that fucking baby up.
Yeah, he was gonna
Ah.
fucking smother that baby.
And then,
Oh
and
my
like that's the thing
god.
about that character too, is like he's clearly like a follower. He has no will of his own. Like that's what this that's how it plays to me. And so like when what's her name, Katie? Is that the new girlfriend who
Christy,
fought
or I
Aaron?
think.
Christy?
Hmm.
Yeah, that, yeah, Katie was the other girl. So many names on this show.
Names. So hard.
So hard. There's so many names, but like the Christy, like when the fight thing happened with Christy and Aaron,
Hmm.
you could tell like they played him to be someone who like was just there. You
Yeah,
know?
there was like they did this thing where like the first time I watched it, I thought he's clearly uncomfortable, like for even like the briefest of moments, but he's not, like you said, he's a follower, so he's not going to do anything. And then when I watched it again and since, it's like I don't know if I feel like it bothered him. To me, it looks like he hated her. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like he hated her, and I don't understand,
Oh,
like,
I completely understand why.
why.
Because he blames her for ruining his life. It's that
But like,
saying, like,
okay, but like what, but it feels like, I don't know, it feels like he was like terrible to her to begin with. It's almost like, why, like, I mean, now that we even know that, I don't know, it's weird. I don't trust it. It just feels, I can't explain it. Because now, how do we even know? Well, no, why would you do that? Why would you go through with it? Especially if you're right. If his animosity is because she had this baby and he didn't want her to.
mm-hmm.
If he knew that he could, there's no chance he would be the father, he wouldn't go along with it. I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. It feels
Yeah, I mean,
weird.
it's one of those things because like, and that's one of the things I really liked about the scene leading up to Aaron, the fight with Aaron and Christy, when she showed up at this party, right? And or like this, like even like the lead up before that when she was with her friend, and she was like, "I'm going to meet this guy," and then her mom came in and helped her get
Yeah.
dressed up and everything. Like I liked when she showed up there and she tried to talk to the people that she used to know,
Yeah.
and like they're still like kids or whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're still like those people, and she's like, yeah, it's been tough having a kid for a year, and then it's like real awkward. I really
Yeah.
like that because like, I mean, that's real. That's, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know about
Yeah.
y'all. I had people in my high school who had kids, and that was very similar. And so like I liked that because it felt very realistic. And so like having her have that moment where she was so like, you could tell that she used to know people and have friends and
Yeah.
and be like a quote unquote normal kid, and then because she had this kid, like that kind of ruined all of that.
And I
Maybe not
wonder,
ruined, but
like, it's
changed
so,
it.
especially because, like, I'm going to assume, um, oh, well, no, because, yeah, she did know because she specifically told her friend that he wasn't the father, but she didn't tell her who. and the friend assumed that it was Frank because she saw Frank dropping her off.
Yeah, she saw Frank like with diapers and shit. And so
So
that's what I was saying was like seeing Aaron have that experience to me informs Dylan's experience and what he probably has experienced too, where as a father, as a teenage father, he also probably is in that same situation where he like his friends aren't his friends and all that, and
but
he's
that's
clearly not having the same difficulty with it
I was just
because
gonna say I don't know. I don't know if I think that that's like true at all because like I think they went out of their way to show that his life really hasn't changed that much. When the baby was with him, his parents were taking care of it. He was still doing whatever the hell he wanted. He still had his friends. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, we got to see him with his friends, and there was no, like, awkward, I used to have friends. Like, he still has friends.
He was out hanging in the
but I
woods.
mean that
Yeah,
but I mean from
I don't
his perspective. I mean that's what I mean. That's
But
what I
like
meant,
how?
from,
But I get that. But like
no, it doesn't
how?
make any sense. Like
Right, that's
what
what I'm saying.
I
Like
think
I
it's
don't even
real.
know
I
like
think
how he would justify that to himself because like what has changed for you that
because I
you
think
know
that I think it's a commentary on how this thing goes, right? Like when a teenage pregnancy happens, it always is worse for the girl.
right.
And I think that but like the boy also views it as this horrible thing that happened to him. And I don't want to, stereotype, but I mean like, typically that's the kind of thing that would happen is like he still clearly doesn't like this. He doesn't like that he has a son that he has to, pick up
Well,
once a week or whatever.
thankfully he won't much longer. I don't know. I'm not there with you on that with that I don't. I mean, if that's what they're going for, I don't know. It's not landing for me because
I mean,
right
that's
now
why
it
he was
just
going to
feels
kill
like
the kid. I mean, that's why he was doing it because he's like, this is so horrible. Like, he's a shitty person.
But he was going to also kill it because it wasn't his kid. Like, he just didn't care anymore.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that at all.
I do.
yeah, like I don't know that he would have if he had not found out that that wasn't his kid.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
I don't know if he would have reacted like
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
He would have.
I don't know.
I think. He's a shitty
So Mare learns about journals and then she goes into the house. I totally forgot Kenny's ass was in jail for trying to kill Dylan. I was like, how's she just walking up in this house? But that's where she finds the locket. So we see Missy attack. So she ends up being another missing girl. By the end of the episode, we see she's taken to where Katie's been held, presumably all this time. And it looks like this is like below a old bar or restaurant or something of some sort. And we learn that the girls it turns out like all three of the girls had pages on this like escort site. But
like OnlyFans.
How do y'all feel? Because I got the impression that we're gonna find out that Aaron is not connected at all to the other missing girls.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that's what.
Yeah.
So whenever I read stuff, like I remember who it was. They did this thing where they like placed the odds of, all the characters being the killer. When it came to who I think was Siobhan, they were like, like they had like all these signs pointing to why. I mean, like, questions they had about it, I should say. I don't think anybody thought. I haven't heard beyond us, but again, I don't listen to podcasts and stuff like that. The theory that Kevin is Erin's baby dad. But anyway, they were like, but what knocks her odds down is the fact that she's clearly not the person who, kidnapped Missy and Katie. And I'm like, why do y'all think those are connected? They're obviously not connected. Like, for one thing, this girl's dead. And it seems like whoever killed her went out of their way to make it look like it was something it wasn't. They went out of their way to make it look sexual. Like this was not tied to that sex site.
Mm-hmm.
It was Aaron. I mean, Siobhan.
I wouldn't be surprised if it were a situation where the same person maybe tried to get Aaron, and then Aaron ran or something.
But then ended up.
And then ended up in the arms of a killer.
That would be. I would. Shut up, the deacon. Are you still on the deacon?
Priest.
I want to mention really quickly before I jump to the feedback that Evan Peters lives at home in a creepy way. So I just want to say that because
I will say
I don't want to shit on adults who live at home. How I have an adult child who lives at home and she doesn't have to leave until she's damn it well good and ready. But you guys know what I mean when it's creepy. This is fucking creepy. Sitting there, I don't know, praying with your mom and then like the whole, I don't know, his mom is fake and phony. I don't like this. He feels like he absolutely abducts girls in vans.
What I am not here for is him and Mare.
Nobody wants to see that.
Mare is old enough to be his mother, and that's just... This is weird.
No, she's a Philly 40.
Oh,
wow. When he introduces her as my mare, I cracked. I don't know why his delivery on that. This is my mare. I mean, my partner mare.
And right after his mom was like, you know, that mare, she's stupid. And
yeah,
shit.
apparently she's that. So this is your chance. And then we were just talking about you. And I was like, oh, I hate her. And I don't know. That's why your son's like Norman Bates. Stop. And he asked her out, and Donnie established that
creepy.
He's not here for that. Let's see. Oh yeah, we talked about that. And then why did they have Lori's son staring at the news like that? Because everybody's a suspect.
Oh yeah, the kid.
Yeah.
They're like, don't go outside, don't walk alone.
I think Ellen is suspicious of Lori's husband. Because like he's cousins with Erin's dad. Like he was one of the ones that, right? Is that what that she said? That went over when they had to inform Kenny that Erin was dead? No? But anyway, I think she's suspicious of Lori's husband.
Oh, one of the McMenamin people.
Yeah.
And the other thing, it just doesn't, it's not realistic to me, is it's all girls that are being taken or disappearing or murdered or whatever. I don't know if they're going to be like, because it was telling the boy not to be outside, not to walk alone. Like,
I see what you're saying.
It doesn't seem like there's no threat there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like he wouldn't have been staring at I don't know, but
well, not just that the parents react like that. Like,
the mom said that's right. She was like, I don't want you guys walking home alone anymore. I'll pick you up. I don't know.
I mean, if kids were disappearing, I'd do the
But
same
it's just
thing.
all women, though.
That doesn't. Well, first of all, she has a daughter.
Oh, okay.
So what are you gonna do? Pick her up and then make the son walk?
Yeah.
You're
fine. What is wrong with you? There's one last thing I want to mention before I move on to the feedback, and that is the fact that fucking Siobhan had this terrible dialogue in the scene with her girlfriend who asked too many goddamn questions.
Why is she hiding her girlfriend? Is she older than her? Is that why?
Yeah, she's clearly, she's like...
Every time somebody keeps asking her, she goes, no. Why'd you break up with her? Is there somebody else? No, there's nobody else.
And is it because she's old? How much older is she?
She's in college.
That's what Mare...
Siobhan's supposed to be in senior in high school.
Well, Mare said, who's that woman?
Yeah, Mare was like, who is that woman?
She was always just a friend.
Yeah, it's just a friend.
See, that's the thing. I don't... See, if that's what they're going for, then they fucked up. Because that girl doesn't look that old to me. The only thing I did think in this episode, this is a little gross, but I'm like, if this girl's a freshman and she's a senior, then maybe, because then they're probably like the same age or a year apart. Right. But how old is she supposed to be then? Because honestly...
She's in college, so maybe 4 years. 4 years at max.
Right. Okay. So 22 at max?
Yeah, and I don't think that's as old compared to like it's Javon's 17 or 18.
Not seven. I don't know. I think anything 17 is a little weird for me. If you're even if you're like 20, that's like 18 is like I don't know. But we talked about this in Korean culture class because we talk about how they are considered a year when they're born in Korea. And so if you ask their age, they'll tell you either their international age or their Korean age. And so the Korean age is almost always older. And excuse me, everyone ages up a year on the new year. So if you are born like someone like Kim Tae-yeon, let's say, who has a birthday at the end of the year. So he's born December 30th, let's say. And he is, which I think is his birthday. So he's one, right?
Stop
But
playing
then
it
two.
like you don't.
No, his and Jen's are at the end of the year, and so I get them mixed up. But anyway, December 30th, you're a year old. Then the new year happens, you're two. You get it? So they're international age. And so when I was asked about that, um,
So they age twice a year or no?
I believe so.
So he's at
Well,
60.
no, he's not 60.
Wow.
Wait, maybe I explained it wrong.
I mean, is it just twice the first year, or is it twice every year? That's what I'm asking.
Mm. Let's look it up so I can be sure. Because my understanding could be wrong.
Because I think it makes sense if it's like the first year,
Mm-hmm.
But like if you age,
Mm.
like if you have a birthday December 30th and then you turn 2 on January 1st,
All
and
right,
then on
hold
December
on.
30th you're 3, and then on January 1st you're 4. Like that's a
All
lot of
right.
years going by.
So it says Korean age is a way that Koreans calculate their age. It's also 1 or 2 years more than your international age. Koreans consider a year in the womb as counting towards their age. So everyone is 1 year at birth. Everyone gets 1 year added to their Korean age on New Year's Day. Here's an easy way to think about it. Your Korean age will always be at least 1 year older than your international age. That's because Korean age adds 1 year because of the time you spent in the womb before being born, approximately 1 year. Your Korean age will change on New Year's Day, not on your birthday. People in Korea still celebrate their birthdays on the day that they were born. However, it doesn't affect their Korean age. Their Korean age changes on January 1st. For example, if you were born on April 1st, then you would celebrate your birthday on April 1st. However, your Korean age wouldn't change until January 1st. Korean age isn't calculated based on your birthday. If you're curious about your Korean age, there's a Korean age calculator earlier and later in this post. So, there you go. That's how it works.
That raises two questions. And I don't know if I want to ask either one of them.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to.
I mean, human gestation is not a year. Like, I just want to.
Yeah. No, it's 10 months. It's 10 months. Uh,
Okay.
um, so there's the, I mean, it's just a 2 months different. What's your next question?
Is it 10? I thought it was 9. Where's the
No.
extra month come in?
Are you really gonna debate me
I'm not
on
debating.
your
I'm asking.
station? Oh,
I'm
no, because when you so like because it's based on the date of your last period.
Oh, I see.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that
So,
okay.
it was actually 10 months. Um,
The other
go
question
ahead.
is one that is cultural.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't imagine anyone on this podcast would be able to answer the question.
Okay.
What is the attitude toward abortion in South Korea?
Oh,
Yeah,
I can
because
tell you
like
right
if
now. Yeah, no, they're super, super conservative.
Yeah, I mean it made sense, like because they
Mhm.
consider
Mhm.
when you're in the womb to be a part of your
Mhm.
life.
Yep. So I mean, they're very concerned about divorce, homosexuality. Mhm. I mean, there's lots of progress, but um. So anyway, we were talking about culturally. I was thinking about it, and I told my teachers like I don't really feel like it's that much different. You know what I mean? Like if here I think you're 14, but your Korean age is 15, then you know whatever. I said the only thing that would concern me is when we think about the things that are tied to age in which we say kids can't do until they reach a certain age. But even when you put it like that, it makes it feel so arbitrary, right? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, what is the difference? Like, why can you drink at 18 and not 17? Or 19 and not 18? Or 21 and not 20? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
So, and that's
all
why
those
there's a,
numbers are, yeah.
and so that's why um and I mean, and not for everything, obviously. I mean, for certain things like voting and things like that. Like you think about where we attach these numbers and then what we say they can and can't do. Like they can go to war, but they can't do this. You know what I mean? So
You can't rent a car. Like,
exactly. It's just so
which
we,
is
and so
stupid.
when I said that to her, she was like, exactly. And that's why you see that play out culturally in Korea when we talk about, for instance, again, being able to drink. I think they can drink at 18. Here it's still 21, right?
Mhm.
Um, and things like that, driving and all, like it's just not, it's seen as such a big deal is again because I think that they consider that they are more mature than we consider our adolescents being at the same age. So, all right, so let me read this feedback because we do have some, and then I have a bunch of homework to do. All right, Donnie, what is that weird noise? Is that my dog?
Yes.
Stop sounding so annoyed. He's precious. Okay. So Shalita says, "Hi guys, I only watched it once, but I want to get this out now before I forget." So I'm leaning towards Evan Peters being the kidnapper. Kidnapper. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm drunk. I swear I'm not. After
He
the con-
he kidnapped her.
he after the conversation in the thread in the last podcast, he's looking more and more shady. Plus, him hitting on Mare is ridiculous. Sit your young behind down, Evan. Just know.
I like that it's ridiculous. It's not like inappropriate. It's just ridiculous.
Yes. Like,
Why
what are you?
would you do this?
Just why? What were you thinking? That's exactly how I felt watching it. I hated that scene so much.
Yeah, it doesn't
Um,
make any. It doesn't make
and
sense
you,
that
okay.
it's happening.
I
It
said
doesn't
that
make sense.
last
Yeah, that
Saturday.
she's actually like, oh, I have a
Entertaining
date. I
it,
don't know which
yeah.
date I'm gonna do on Saturday.
And
Like,
I said this
really?
last week, right? That
She
it
shouldn't be
feels
with the
like
fucking Guy Pearce either. I'm just.
no,
Yeah, but
he's
he's creepy.
he's gross. But like that's what I said before. Like if we thought that this was like a show that was gonna stick around, then okay, fine, because then we can see where this character goes and the growth. And so things he does here matters, right? But this is a limited series. It only has like 3 more episodes. So, like, unless he's the fucking killer, shut up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see him hitting on her and having fucking meatloaf dinners with his creepy ass mom. Sorry. So anyway, she says, sit your young behind down, Evan. Just know. Plus, you see how fucked up her life is. Why do you want any part of that? Unless you're trying to muddy the waters so she doesn't suspect you. But the biggest reason is I feel like maybe the build of them and who kidnapped that girl kind of resembled him. Yeah. Plus, y'all are so right. He's a lousy detective. He's terrible.
What if?
Um, Go ahead.
What if the like? I would be interested if they, because it's only 3 episodes left, right?
I think so.
So I mean, there
Yeah,
may
it's
not be
7
enough.
total.
Yeah, so there may not be enough time to do this, but like, I do think we're going to find out more about that previous case that he supposedly solved. And I think it might be interesting if we learn like he also had a relationship with some other detective who was working on that case, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe he stole that case from that person. And so then maybe that's why he's getting close to her here, so he can steal it from
Or
her.
he fucking didn't really crack, like they got the wrong person, and whoever this is. Oh, well, no, he found the girl, right? It's not even that he, like, caught the person. The girl was found because of him, right? Which is kind of rare, I
Yeah, so I
think.
mean, it would be it would
Mm,
if someone else cracked the case and he just took credit for it, I
yeah.
think that would be interesting.
Um. Okay. So then she says, Siobhan is so messy. She's bringing the new girl to her house where she lives with her mama, grandmama, and baby nephew. Like, really? Is she looking for the long term with this beautiful black girl who needs to stay away from the white folks, or was it a hookup? She's a college girl. Don't she have a dorm or an apartment? Yeah, that's also really weird because, like, when you say it like that, yeah, I don't know. But also we have established I'm bougie because I don't know if I'm like 19, 20 at college. I'm a freshman, maybe, and I'm dating a high school senior. I'm not going to her house. Have some
Yeah,
standards.
like
Like that just feels
was
gross.
but like it was like an impromptu thing, right? Like she
I
was just dropping her
guess
off, and
she
she was like, "Why don't
was.
you come in?"
She could have said no. She could have
Yeah,
said,
she
"Girl,
should have
you
said
live.
no.
Yeah, you live with your mama. That's some young girl shit. This is inappropriate." Mm-mm.
And
And then
then
she
you see
sneak
what
you in through.
happened.
Did she sneak you in through the colors only entrance downstairs? I don't like it. I
And
don't like it.
this was very much some like suburban white kid shit where it's like, oh, I'm 17 and I have the basement to myself and I have my own entrance that I
Hmm.
use. And it's like, what?
Hmm.
Like, what? Who does that?
um. Da, 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 da. Hold on a second. So this is a lot, and I can't read it all because we I have got to go do my homework. I'm not even kidding you guys when I tell you it's homework. It's a motherfucker. But I do want to. You brought up something. You said, Dylan. This is still Shalita. Dylan is still the worst, but his parents are lovely people. I was like, how did they create such a monster? Jesus Christ. Um, Now, she says, I'm not even mad at Erin for lying about the baby daddy. She wanted to make sure her child had reliable grandparents who she knew would look out for him. Yeah, okay, I caught that. That makes sense. We did talk. Okay, yeah, I get it now. But the dad, though.
So then that
But
means that
also, he's the
whoever
type of
is,
he's the type of guy who would like totally smother a baby with a pillow, though,
so then whoever is the actual father must be from like a shitty family.
or dead, and a shitty family like Mare.
Yeah, like, so if you don't want to like say
Mm-hmm.
who the father actually is, but you want to lie and say it's this guy because of his parents,
Mm-hmm.
then the actual grandparents must be
Mm-hmm.
shitty or something.
Um. Oh my God! Stop antagonizing my dog. Classic R&B lover says Jean Smart called Mare a stupid bitch without calling her one. She said you are smack ass. What she call it? Wait, I wrote it down. Shit. When she told her about my notes by the end of the podcast are a mess because I do it all digital now and I can change the color, so I'm always like doodling and drawing when we're talking, and it's just I'll take screenshots one day. Anyway, complete smacked ass. That's what she. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Is
I
that a
mean,
Delco County thing?
it must be some like Philadelphia thing. Like it must
Like
be
a
something.
John.
Yeah, like a John.
You smacked ass John.
Because like this show is nothing if not very uh
Authentic.
dedicated to its its
Authenticity. Yes.
yeah authenticity. Yeah, it was like the from the accent to the band to
Someone's
the
gonna be
Rolling Rock
somebody's gonna
beer
be
they keep
somebody's
drinking.
gonna be fucking in a Wawa next week.
Yeah. Does
Oh,
what's her name? Does Dawn work in a Wawa? I didn't even pay attention. Like
no, no, Wawas are nicer than that.
I don't know.
I've been in Wawa's. I used to live in Philly. They're nicer than that.
I don't.
Or
I
at
bet
least
there's
they were.
some. I bet there's some that suck.
Really? Well, those
I
ain't really.
bet.
You've been in Wee Wee's.
No, I haven't been in them. I'm
John
saying.
works at 7-Eleven.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying, I bet there's some Wawas that probably suck.
I don't know. You know what they used to call? You know what they used to call going to get money from the ATM?
No, what they do?
Tap the Mac.
Run that by me one more time.
Hold on. Tap the Mac.
What?
Nope, I don't understand it. I mean, I understand
I'm
what you're
wondering.
saying.
Okay, yeah. I'm wondering if it was a Temple University thing, or if it was specific to Temple University, or if it was a regional, like a Philly thing. But I think like the ATM machines. I don't know if it was the bank or whatever, but they whatever the names was, the acronym was it just was MAC, MAC. So whenever students would have to get money, they said, "I gotta go tap the Mac," meaning you had
Now,
to
now
go.
it's just now it's just called Tap the John.
You're gonna get cussed out by some Delco County. I'm never not saying Delco County now. It's just they go together.
Delaware, Delco County.
Yep. So anyway, she hides the Haagen Dazs in the nasty frozen mixed vegetables bag. I love her. Yeah, because when she pulled that out, I was just like, who still does this? I'm like, this is so working class. These frozen mixed vegetables. I'm like, my stomach was just hurting looking at them. She pulled that. I was so happy there was ice cream in there. Um, Seeing black people interacting with the people in town that inbreeding built got me feeling a type of way. Black lesbian can definitely do better than Siobhan. Black therapist stuck listening to Mare and her shit. Black cop stuck dealing with the aftermath of Mare and her shit.
The chief.
Oh my god, I felt so bad for him. Like she put him in that fucking position. So Deacon Shady McGrady is avoiding the cops. He could, yeah, because he was. Thank you for saying, because I forgot he was hiding in that window.
Yeah, he was like, I ain't coming out of here.
Right, but then this week, what's his name was talking to him, and he's like, pressing him, trying to get
Yeah,
information.
he was like stalking him and caught him at the drugstore or some shit.
It was so funny when he was like, I made note of this too. When he was walking across the street with him, he's like, he said, I want to ask you some questions, but that's not how he said it. It came out like, I want to ask you some questions. I was like, what you want to do? Evan Peters trying to put on this Delco County accent. I want to ask you some questions. I was like, what the fuck is that?
This is like, I love, why we talked about this before, but I love Evan Peters on this show because I'm like, it feels like watching Kevin Bacon fucking 20 years ago, like, or 30 years ago, like, I really enjoy it.
I want to ask you. So yeah, he's hiding.
The deacon stopped when he said, did you say ass?
It's Donnie. What?
Like the deacon was literally horny on Main Street.
What the hell, Donnie? Shut up. So, anyway. So sweet darling Kevin was an abusive, thieving drug addict. Where was the father of the year for that shit? Thank you, because I was like, where was Frank? So remember we were debating, like we were trying to figure out like when exactly they divorced, because like Siobhan tells, this is when she had that shitty dialogue. She tells her new girlfriend, she goes, sometimes I feel like we were best friends, and other times I feel like I didn't know him at all. Who wrote that? Who the fuck wrote that basic, stupid fucking shit?
I don't like the documentary that she's making. It feels so
unnecessary.
Yeah, it feels like
why?
Yeah, like it feels like a video game. It feels like somebody watched
This is
Life is
Life is
Strange.
Strange.
Somebody watched Life is Strange, and you're like, "This sounds good. This is good. I like this."
Listen, listen.
Or they
I
watch
just
some Gone Home.
I feel like this would resonate with me more if there was like a reason she was doing this other than like it's just like her personal healing, which I don't know. I just don't care. I know it sounds terrible, but I don't. I don't really care about Siobhan's healing right now. Um, yeah. And I feel like the purpose of this movie is like it's clues. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that
when
it's
she
something
says,
could
"Oh,
come
I
out like
wonder who he
Aaron's
was
gonna be in this
alone
fucking
with."
documentary.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's
exposition. It's just
yeah,
exposition.
yeah, and so maybe that's why I'm also not invested. I'm just like, tell me what I need to know.
And it
You
was
know?
it was so weird because like she was like there was one scene I remember which episode it was in when she was like recording some narration for it, and then she finishes saying some real personal like horrible shit, right? And then the scene ends and she's like in a computer lab.
I said that to Tony and Ellen. She was like the whole thing. She's like
shit.
the first time I knew my brother was strange. We went to see Harry Potter and his tics were bad and they called him a doofus and da da da. And then I did it and I just wish I knew why he killed himself. And then she takes the headphones off and it's like the bell rings. I'm like, what the fuck?
I was like, what?
Or she puts the mic down.
Playing,
Yeah.
like Oregon Trail. Like what's going on?
Yeah, and then listen to the whole fucking thing.
Oh my god! I was like, why
trying
is she?
to type in class, and she's over there like, my brother was.
I was like, why aren't you doing this at home?
Yes, and she's got it. She's got all the materials. She can do it. Like, is it so? Is it so dire that she has to do it right now?
She had to do that voiceover part right then.
It's just you can tell like they just want her to do those scenes in different settings.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't just want it to be her in the same place every time.
Right, right. Then it's just Doogie Howser.
Oh, but at least Doogie Howser was in private every time.
Right? I'm so glad you noticed that because I said the same thing. That shit was so weird to me. Um, Anyway, I guess we can rule him out as the dad for Aaron's son since Frank was cleared of paternity with no familial link noted. I guess. I still want that to be my theory. So now we have a third girl in the mix, and all of them, even Aaron, have a possible connection to prostitution. My heart breaks for Aaron, even if lying about her son's father was not a nice thing, but seeing Dylan's parents, I get it. I hope they keep that baby. Yeah. Evan Peters' mother seems delightful. Right? Even suspended Mare's still running the case because Evan Peters' character is clueless. Right? You noticed that, right? That she's like back on the case and
that
running.
was one of the things like that has to mean something, right?
I don't know.
That like because like the chief was like, "Don't you fucking keep working that case," and then she immediately is like working the case, and I'm like, "This got to come back to him."
Yeah, I mean, you would think that no matter what happens in solving it, it's not gonna like nothing would stick because her ass ain't a cop. You know, she's suspended. Like
Yeah,
she's
and,
already jeopardizing. You know, any information she finds is jeopardized.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like whenever like, and then she lies to fucking Colin Evan Peters.
Yeah,
She's like, "Oh, I left my phone in there," and then
yeah,
she goes, "Get some more information," and I was like,
yeah.
"What you had this for?"
I'm telling you, they do that thing. I don't know. They make them just so like I don't know, kind of unlikable. At least to me, anyway. It's like I don't know why she does what she does. Um,
Hold on, I'm just thinking about it. I'm sorry, I know we're trying to hurt, but I don't get how she's such an amazing detective
mhm.
and she ain't solved this yet.
What do you mean? It's only been like 2 days.
No, it's been a year. I mean, I'm kind of on Dawn's side. I'm like, what the fuck have you been doing for a year?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what it felt like to me. She knew more than we are supposed to know because she's lying about even every like if the character was actively working the case and was just stumped and then feeling bad because the mother and the media are like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, where's this girl? Like, okay, great. But again, behind the scenes, to her boss, to her mom, I think even she's like expressed that this girl's probably dead. Like she's like, this, what are we doing? But then to her, she's like, you see, I'm doing everything I can, and I did this and I did that. And it's like, why that part of it? That's the part I don't, it just feels mean and just ugly for her to like, you know. So again, now what you're saying is if you're telling, oh no, she's this great detective and it feels like she is, right? Like she's fucking
Yeah, she's
licking her
Sherlocking that shit,
fingertip and
finding
holding it up
bullets.
in the air and finding bullets and shit. Yeah. So it's like, okay, if that's then what went wrong with Katie's case, and that's why it made sense to me. Like, when I thought that maybe, Katie was still alive and behind this, right? Like wanting the money. I was like, oh, maybe Mare knows because Katie's a mess. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like she
and
thinks she's protecting Dawn or something. That would make sense. If she wants at her job, no, stop looking for her. She's probably worked this case. She can't be found. You know what I mean? But to her friend, she's like, I'm did everything I could and whatever. Especially if she thinks that this woman's gonna die. I don't know. So, but no, it don't feel like it's that
yeah,
at all. It's just she ain't solved shit.
yeah, and it's like, and it feels like finding out that Katie is still alive and like right there. It
Yeah.
it just feels like she should have done solved it. Like I don't
You
know,
know what
like
I was thinking in this episode? Um, um, that would be a kind of interesting twist to do. When she found the locket or the necklace, I was like, it would be really interesting if she does figure this out like this episode, but we don't know that. And it doesn't play like that to us. And then everything she does for the next few episodes is in service of that information. So
I want
let's
to
say
Columbo
she
it.
right, like let's say she finds out that it is Siobhan and we're watching it and she's doing things like we're like, what the fuck is she doing? Like this is gonna jeopardize this case. Like that evidence will never stay because it can't say it came from her. That type of stuff. Like if we watch these next few episodes, like what the fuck she's doing, and then it turns out like when she found that necklace, that date did mean something. She did piece it together. And so everything she's been doing since then is in service of that, and that will explain it, right? So if she's tanking the case, it's because she was trying to protect someone or whatever, or if she's trying to like root the killer out or get them to trip themselves up, that would be interesting. I haven't seen something like that in a minute,
Yeah,
but
like an unreliable narrator.
yeah, but it'll probably end up where she just figures it out.
Yeah, I mean, it is like it. I don't know who the fuck it would be, honestly.
Yeah,
I
at
was
this
gonna
point,
say
it's
like,
just I don't even know if I care at this point. I guess I kind of do because I really did like Erin, and I just felt, um, you know, connected to that character like almost immediately, and felt like please don't let anything happen to her, and then they let horrible things happen to her. So I'm just kind of invested in seeing how that plays out. But
mhm.
I'm just
I mean,
enjoying so much about the show that I.
yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I would be fine if they already like it is the Deacon, right? And like it just is him, and like that we don't have to worry about solving that case
Hmm.
for like the Katie and Missy, like though that part of it, like that mystery is solved already, and we're the only thing we're still worried about is Aaron. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
I'm fine with that.
yeah. Okay, so that is it, you guys. I really thank everybody for listening. I have got to go do some homework. Um, we will,
Homework,
yeah,
her,
homework.
homework. I watched a
Um,
video about how to do the accent.
to go for it.
I would get homework. you gotta like you gotta like hold the corners of your mouth backwards, like tight. I'll
Homework,
send homework.
homework.
Word,
Oh,
worder.
get some
I'll, I,
water. Ah, I hate you. Okay, so yeah,
I'll
send me
send
the
you the
link.
video. I'll send you
We
the
will
link.
be back tomorrow. No, 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 not tomorrow. Friday for Ajin, and then um, I think that is it until next week. I don't know. I am so. Oh no, no, no. The Nevers this weekend. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my homework done. My brain is like moving too fast for my mouth. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you next time.